Hey everyone, we're doing something a little different today. Me and Dale _A from the Bat and Spider podcast. Please subscribe to their podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I appreciate that. Give them 5 stars. They deserve it. We're on location today. We decided to drive out to Liberty, North Carolina. We're going to go to Rosemere and Snow Camp. We are going to the locations where they shot Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. I just reviewed it earlier in the week. You can check out that review. And we're at our first location. This location, it's not here anymore. The building actually did burn down. I think they used it, from what I read, they actually did set the building on fire, and the fire company used it as like practice. And I don't know if it was the original town hall, but they did build a newer town hall somewhere in Liberty. But the part I'm talking about was when they had that meeting in the movie, and the town folks are there, and the police chief's there, or the sheriff, and the kids lock them in and burn it to the ground with everybody in it. Now, the building's not standing, but these are the trees that were by that house in the movie. I'm going to turn the camera in a second once this vehicle goes by. We're in a residential neighborhood, and we don't look like a bunch of weirdos that we already look like. But those trees right there, that is where the building stood in the movie, where the kids locked them in and set them on fire. That's pretty cool. Yep, that's where they filmed it. At least the exterior of it. I don't know if they filmed it in the interior or if they built a set, but that is where they filmed the exterior house, or that town hall where they burned it to the ground. That's pretty cool. We're going to go visit a few more locations. We're going to visit where the old lady in the wheelchair got thrown through the window, which is definitely one of the better scenes of the film. We're going to visit, and also where in the beginning of the film where they set up with all the reporters and they're busting the kids away at the beginning of the film, where it picks up right after the events of the first film. And then we're going to go check out the church where that guy's nose is bleeding uncontrollably. And we're going to check that location out as well. But this is part 1. This is where the town hall was. And yeah, we're going to head on to our next location. All right, folks, we're back with another location. This is where Danny sees Lacey for the first time in the movie, where he's walking down the side of the road. He comes walking down this way onto the bridge. He looks over and sees Lacey. Now, today it's not going over the waterfall like it did in the movie. It's just trickling, but she would be down there right by where you see the water coming out. Bridge shook pretty good with that car going over. And where Danny would go down and talk to her, and they would meet for the first time. So this is another location. It's about, we just came from Liberty. It's about 10 minutes away. And we're going to go to Main Street, Rosemere next to check out a couple locations. But yeah, this is pretty cool. It's beautiful out here, actually. It's a nice country road. There's limited traffic. It's quiet. It's beautiful. It reminds me of from where I came from. We took a short ride out to the valley. But yep, this is where Danny met Lacey for the first time in the movie. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That's where she was bathing herself, hanging out by the waterfall. And yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's about 68 degrees, sunny, a little breezy. And yeah, we're going to head off to Main Street, Rosemere. All right, me and Dale are here in Ramsmere, North Carolina, on Main Street, where they shot a couple scenes. Right down here is where you saw the older woman in the wheelchair with Micah and the other kids from Children of his flock falling behind her, and her giving him the business about, I'm not afraid of you, blah, blah, blah. And he tells them to watch this with the remote control and makes her wheelchair go wacky. You see that nice car going behind me? And this is the street right here where her wheelchair was all over the place. And finally, the truck came from back here and plows into her. And right there, that was the bingo hall where she went crashing through the window. And we get that great line by that older gentleman who gets knocked to the ground. And he goes, bingo, to cap off the scene, which is the chef's kiss of that scene, because it's a perfect way to end it. But yeah, this is the area where they filmed all of that. We're also going to walk down the street and show you where the beginning of the movie starts with the bus and them putting the kids from from Gatlin onto the bus and all the reporters and whatnot. But yeah, this is pretty cool. It's It's a nice little downtown, but it's very quiet. There's nobody really around right now, although it is about 5 o'clock and all these businesses are closed. But it's really, really cool to be here. We're gonna walk across the street and I'll film a little bit over there at the bingo hall. Hey everyone, we crossed the street, Dale and I, and this storefront that's vacant right now was where they held the bingo game that is so prominently in that scene with the wheelchair. And this is where the tables were set up. They have a partition there right now, but the gentleman who gets hit, that gets knocked down and says bingo, was sitting like right there where I'm pointing. And he gives that great chef's kiss line, bingo, after he gets knocked down and gets up, and the lady just came through the window. But this is where they filmed all of this. This is where they filmed it. I'll give you a little bit of a 360-degree shot. Over there is where Micah and the kids were standing with the remote control once again, and this is where the wheelchair was going crazy in the street. And then the truck came from up that way and hit her, and that's when launched her, well, the dummy, but still a great shot, and I love that stunt. It's one of the highlights of the movie for sure, and she crashed through the plate glass window and knocked that gentleman over. But this is super cool. It's nice. It actually is a really nice little downtown. Like I said, though, it's Saturday about 5 o'clock. Nothing's open except for a vape shop right down the street. There's really nobody around, just me and Dale hanging out here, a few cars going by, but yeah, this is cool. We were just deconstructing the wheelchair scene, standing here on the side of the road here or in downtown Rosemere. And we figured out, like, that's where the children were standing when they started messing with their wheelchair. She came off the street, about right there where my finger's pointing. And when the truck made impact, they had it staged out in that intersection. If you watch that clip, the truck comes down behind her because you could see that fire hydrant right there in the background. So they must have staged her out there for the POV shot of the truck coming, and then they swapped shots. When she gets hit, you could see the fire hydrant, and then they cut to when they launched her through right where that post is. That's where she went through the plate glass window and hit that gentleman. So yeah, we're standing here in the sidewalk just deconstructing the scene, watching off YouTube, just trying to figure out where the placement was and how they had the camera. But that's how we figured they shot it. And then you had the POV shot from behind the plate glass of showing her coming through and hitting that guy. So yeah, it's kind of fun doing this. It's my first time really doing something like this, so it's cool to actually be here and see. The town looks, I mean, they fixed up some of the buildings, but it looks a lot the same as it did in the movie. But yeah, we're going to start walking down and check out the other main location. But yeah, it's cool. If you're ever in North Carolina, you're ever close to Liberty Net, I'd recommend coming out here and checking it out. It's pretty cool out here. It's nice. All right, we're at our next main location down Main Street, Rosemere. This is where the opening of the film, you see the reporter. Now, I'm not standing in the road like he was, but back where that Jeep is back there is where the school bus was parked. And there would be corn stalks all on the street, cop cars, ambulances. And then the reporter was in the middle of the street with the shot going over his shoulder that way where you could see all of it. And then right here on this bank right here where we're standing, there was a building here in the movie, but it's not here anymore. But right here is where they lined up some bodies underneath the white blankets right here in the beginning of the film. Besides that building being torn down, there's really, everything is pretty much the same, only it's not dressed for the movie like you see in the film. Where they shot the beginning with all that news coverage and setting up the events after what happened in the first movie in Gatlin. We're gonna head over to the church where they shot the church scene where the gentleman bled out because Micah was going to work on him with that voodoo doll. But yeah, this is pretty cool. We'll be back. It's probably, I think we're about 10-15 minutes away from that location, but yeah, we'll record when we get there. See it. Hey everyone, we're at our last location from Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. This door right here leads into where they filmed the church scenes in Children of Corn 2. I'm going to walk this way so you can get an even better shot of it behind me. This was the church from the movie. They shot the exteriors here, and I think from what I could tell, they shot the interiors here as well. Now, this is on Drama Road in Snow Camp, North Carolina. There's actually some other historical buildings here on site. It's a schoolhouse. That's another meeting house. That one right there, it says museum on it. I don't know if it's still open or not. It doesn't look like it is, but there is stuff inside that we can tell. We didn't go inside, obviously, but we can see in the windows. It looks like there's some things in there. It looked like in where the church is, or where it's not a church, it's a meeting house, but where they filmed the church in, some of the pews are still in there. We could see them through the window. And right inside this door right here, if you walked in that door to the right in the last pew is where Micah was sitting with the voodoo doll that he started using a knife on. And then about on the left side, the gentleman who started bleeding uncontrollably from his nose and his eyes and his ears was about halfway up on the left with his wife. And then right at the front of it would be where the preacher was and how the scene unfolded. This is historical grounds. I don't know who, there's no signs, it's not posted. I don't know who owns this or if it's just a historical site and the Historical Society takes care of it. From what we can tell, it looks like they started doing renovations to the church where they filmed the church scenes, but they didn't finish them. It's a little, there's scaffolding inside. So like I said, it looks like they started doing some renovations, but they didn't finish it. But this is where they filmed that scene from Children of Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. I don't know if I can get you a look inside. There's not really a good way to look in a window here, but it does definitely have some of the pews left in there. And, but there's a lot of broken glass. There's a lot of missing panes. So this looks like this is just sitting here. I don't know what they're doing with it. There's nobody around. We're kind of out here on this road all by ourselves. You can hear sirens in the background, but that's a little bit of ways from us. We're definitely out here in the country. There's a outdoor drama or outdoor theater across the street. It's closed right now. It's October, so I think they only run during the summertime. They put on plays and productions during the summer outside. Kind of like a summer stock kind of deal, I guess. But yeah, this is where they filmed those scenes. It's very cool. This old building, it's been here for a very long time. Yeah, this was a hell of a trip. We enjoyed this. I wish we can go in there, but it's all locked up and we can't get in there. But this is very cool. Children of Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. This is our final location we're going to go to. I'm going to edit this together and upload it this coming week, so you'll probably see it on Monday. But yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm going to give another shout out to Dale_A and Chuck from the Bat and Spider podcast. Please give them a look-see on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Dale's right over there. Dale, wave goodbye. We're going to go and check out a haunted house or something, get something to eat. But yeah, this is a cool thing. We're going to do some more in the wintertime. We're going to go down to Wilmington. There's a ton of locations down there. And we're going to do this again. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've ever seen Children of Corn 2. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. Shameless plug for my TeePublic page. Check that out. I'll leave the link down below. But until next time, bye.